Have you been wanting to try something a little chromatic in your writing, but you're not sure where to start? That's what we're going to go over today in this video of Dr. Doug's tips for how to write great LDS church music. We're looking at hymn 115, Come Ye Disconsolate, and this is the perfect example of if you're thinking of starting a little bit of chromaticism, this is a great place to start. There's another place you could start, but it's not in this hymn, so I'll leave that for another video. But as you can see, we've got two circled areas here that we're going to talk about. Okay, so we're in the key of C major. This is a lovely hymn you may have heard. Okay, so it's a lovely little hymn. We don't sing it all that often, unfortunately. I wish we did. Perhaps it's the high E's at the end that keep us from singing it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful text, beautiful song. Now, look here at the end of the first line. We get a B flat. So I play it up until the word languish. Then on the word come to the B flat, which wants to go to A. All right. So what do we have here? This is what we call a flat 7. And then we use this little caret to delineate scale degree. Okay, so C major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, normally B natural, but sometimes you flat the 7th scale degree. 1, 2, 3, and when you flat it, guess where it wants to go? It wants to go down. Okay, so if you flat the 7th scale degree, you're going to want to take it down to the 6th scale degree. And now there's many ways you can use a 6th scale degree, but the most common way that this flat 7 to the 6 gets used is when you take the 1 chord. See, we had C major chords here and here, and now all of a sudden on this one we have C7, C dominant 7, C, E, G, B flat, which doesn't fit the key we're in, and it actually fits in the key of F major, because that's the normal 5 chord in F major. If we're in F major, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, and you can play C, E, G, B flat, which resolves to F. Okay, we're not in the key of F though, but we still resolve it that way. Okay, so we take this B flat, you can see down to the next line, to this A. But instead of doing like an A chord or an A minor chord, we don't do that. The typical way is to go to the 4 chord, which in this key is an F major chord, but it's a 4 chord that has the A in the bass, not the F. So we put a little inversion symbol, or if you'd like lead sheet notation, you go F/A, which means this is an F chord with A in the bass. And this is the technical music theory nerd way to write it. A 4 chord with a little number 6, meaning first inversion. But it means exactly the same thing. F major with A in the bass. Okay, now the 4 chord in every major key is a very specific chord. It has a very warm sound. So here's the 1 chord, here's the 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord. So this is a new way to arrive at the 4 chord by using the flat 7th scale degree. Okay, try this sometime. This is a fun way to do this. One last little tidbit about this. This flat 7 happens to be in the bass, which means it pretty much has to go down. Okay, so let me just make sure I correct. This is not actually a 1 chord. They were 1 chords, but now as soon as we give the B flat, it's now a different chord. But what I want you to think about is the flat 7th scale degree. So whatever key you're writing in, write the scale out and look at your 7th scale degree and lower it, and then resolve it down to the 6th scale degree and see what chords you can come up with. That's a great first step into chromaticism. Now the second one is on this word fervently, where we have the F sharp in the soprano. So Mercy, where we just started, Okay, this is a very common step into chromatic territory on these F sharps. Why F sharp? Well, because in the key of C major, our two most important notes are C and G. The tonic, which is C, and the dominant, which is G. They're these two polarities of harmony. Okay, all harmony, pretty much traditional harmony, bounces back and forth between tonic and its friends and dominant and its friends. So by adding this F sharp, I mean, let's see what's the relationship between F sharp and G. It's a half-step relationship. F sharp, G, and sharps want to go up. Okay, so by taking our normal C major scale and adding an F sharp, that wants to go up a lot. It really, really, really wants to go up because it's a half step. Okay, so this is a way to heighten the arrival at the dominant. And you can do this in any key. So whatever key you're in, major keys or minor keys, it works in both, find the dominant note, which is the fifth note in the scale, and then play with the chord before your dominant chord, having this raised fourth scale degree. It gives it this sort of inexorable tipping into the dominant, which you cannot resist. Okay, so these are your composer gems for the day. They're like the first two little chromatic things to attempt. And like I said, there is a third one that's pretty common. We'll talk about it in another video. But these are great ones. The flat seventh scale degree and the sharp fourth scale degree get used quite a lot, very effectively. And it's a fun way to take your first step out of the key signature and try something a little bit chromatic. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. If so, you can get some more free tips over at thelatterdaymusiversity.com, where you can download a free report, The 10 Commandments of How to Write LDS Warm Fuzzy Music. It's a bunch of extra tips, a 24-page long report, so all sorts of fundamental principles for writing really good church music. All right, come back tomorrow, and we will look at Hymn 116. And before you go, hit subscribe, ring the bell, so you get every one of these videos as they upload. Thanks a bunch, and we'll see you then.